So I started learning Spanish around the beginning of 2022, I think around my 13th birthday in March. And I started with Duolingo and all the different apps, right? Babbel, Pimsleur, and all those different apps. And obviously none of them had worked. I'd done Duolingo for a few weeks and I barely made any progress. And so that was until I found a YouTuber named Ikenna who made a video where he made like a tier list of the best Spanish learning apps, which, by the way, if you want me to make a video like that in the future, then I'll definitely do that. But in this video, he mentioned two apps at S tier, which were Pimsleur and Language Transfer, okay? Pimsleur and Language Transfer, and the interesting thing was, Ikenna, who is a polyglot who speaks 8 languages fluently, ranked both of those apps at S tier, and both of those apps were both audible apps. They were both audible courses that you take, okay? And so I tried Pimsleur, and it had a paywall, and also it was pretty slow, and it felt like I was making like no progress. But then I tried Language Transfer, which was free, and within the first 5 lessons, like the first 10 to 15 minutes, like I literally felt the progress I was making. I was learning so much, and I'd made so much progress. And then I went on to finish the course, and then I finished it twice. And then during the summer of 2022, after studying different methods of getting fluent, I eventually created like a roadmap, which I followed through, and by the end of the summer, I was conversationally fluent, which took 120 hours of studying. But the interesting thing was that the first thing that Language Transfer said in the introduction was to not take any notes. And that is what I'm talking about here. Taking notes is the worst tip, the worst like Spanish learning hack that exists out there. And I genuinely mean that, okay? Everyone in school were always told to write things down. And the main sort of argument here is that when you write things down, you remember them better. Firstly, that's just not true. You remember them better than if you type them on the computer, but you don't remember them better than if you just spoke them or if you listened to them, right? And this is like actually proven, right? The best ways to learn is to actually speak and discuss. And the actual best way to learn is to actually teach the same thing to another person. Okay? And so in Language Transfer, he said something, the guy who was hosting the course, he said something that really clicked, and it really just like broke this belief of taking notes for me. And that was that the language should be in my head, not in my notes. And this just completely flipped the script for me, because once I understood that, I never ever focused on anything that was written at all. And that led to me focusing on the things that actually mattered when it came to fluency. Because reading and writing and having notes and reading your notes and all that stuff is never used in conversation. You're never gonna have your notes during a conversation with a native. And my goal, and basically everyone's goal when it comes to learning Spanish, is to be able to have conversations with natives. It's to be able to have a back and forth. And so, if the language is supposed to be in your head, it's supposed to be in the conversation, in that moment, in your head, then it makes zero sense to take notes. If you want to start learning Spanish for free, then check my bio.